What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and welcome to a full completed tour of my luxury condo remodel from 2021. And in this series, you guys saw the whole progression of this unit from when I purchased it last year, took everything apart, went through the design process, came up with a few crazy ideas here and there, and here we are. It has all come together. It is ready to go, and this is actually an investment property, so we're actually gonna have our first guests in just a couple days. But if you guys were part of this series, the most unique aspect of it was that I actually posted a lot of the design decisions over on Instagram, and you guys were able to vote on it. So I feel like it was cool to let everyone get involved on the project and see the end results of the decisions that you guys helped make, and ones that were maybe a little bit outside of the box as well, including the media wall back here. And I wasn't really in the market for a property, but this came across at a really good price at around the cost of a 1-bedroom unit in downtown. And it actually has 2 bedrooms. On top of that, the biggest selling point is as soon as you walk in, you take a look at this beautiful view that looks out into the intersection of downtown. You see the mountains in the background, and I just feel like it had a lot of potential. It definitely wasn't the best designed. It was kind of a 10-year-old unit, and it was also in the AirBNB zoning. So as an investment, I felt like it was a great opportunity to redo it on the channel, let you guys be a big part of it, but at the same time, have some passive income setups as a company. If you guys wanna go ahead and check this property out for yourself or are in downtown Victoria, I'm gonna leave a link down below. And I've actually created a website for the properties that my media company owns called the Feature Collection. And from there, I'll have this unit up first, and there's going to be another one as soon as my next property is complete, and that is my personal condo. So that is a series that I'm really excited about. And even though I'm really excited to show you guys this one as well as that loft series that you saw last year, I'm telling you, this next one is going to be next level. So if you guys are not subscribed already, make sure you go ahead and click that button, drop a like in this video, and also let me know in the comment section below what you think about this project and unit overall after it is all said and done. So here we are in the living room, and this is definitely the area where I really wasn't sure what to do. I had a few ideas that were a little bit crazier. I had brainstormed with the designer, asked some friends, and some of the ideas I had, honestly, were shut down right away because they just didn't make any sense. But at the same time, this is a spot that I really wanted to make sure I got right, because the whole reason why I bought this unit in the first place was because of this window view right here. And I know the importance of having a living room, but at the same time, didn't want to diminish this beautiful view and lookout. With this kind of layout, there's a few different options. Some might say having the round windows is a great asset, whereas others might say it isn't very good use of space. I've seen some units with the same layout on Airbnb have the TV on this side, which does kind of block that primary view, whereas in others, they had it in the corner where you could probably only fit like a 40-inch TV on a very awkwardly sized TV stand because it was in that corner. So I'd actually come across some ideas on Instagram, and I actually did a whole video on this living room itself. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out and hear the whole story behind it, I'm going to drop that link down below. But at the end of the day, I settled on the idea of separating this room into 2 different parts because it was so open before. This is actually within about like, I think 10 or 11 inches overall, which I think was a good idea. It doesn't ruin the view too much. And as you walk in, it just seemingly fits perfectly within the rule of thirds towards the left side and zones this whole open area up into 2 spots. There's still room for like a dining table over there. There's a bit of a small couch right here. On top of that, even though I didn't want to spend like a lot of money on like shades and anything too fancy, I figured it would be a good idea to turn 10 individual blinds into 4 large shades. You go ahead and press this here, and instead of having to roll all the shades down if you want some privacy or block out some of the south-facing sun, then you can just press this button and these shades will instantly roll up and kind of disappear into the bulkhead up there. When it comes to answering some of the questions of the motor system that I used, the one that I went with is the Somfy, and the motor specifically is the Sones 40 RTS, and this right here is an option that is very quiet. It utilizes Somfy's RTS system to communicate with the remote and is able to sync all the different shades in unison, but you also have the option to control them individually. The remote that I went with was the Situo 5 RTS Pure 2. With how seamless and reasonably priced the Somfy system was, I like it so much that I'm actually going with it in my new unit as well, which has tons of windows even compared to this unit. I'm going to drop a link down below if you guys want to learn more about the Somfy system and figure out which motor and setup is best for your home. And it was actually like pretty inexpensive to have everything wired. Because it was all hollow, they just added 4 power outlets up there, and also we're able to wire the power into this media wall right here just to give everything a very clean and seamless look. Of course, the star of the show from the tech side of things is the frame TV. I've wanted a frame TV for quite a while and hadn't tried one before, so I actually picked this up on Facebook Marketplace for a pretty good price, and it just fits in right here. You have some art, you can put whatever you want on it, and as the guests come in and look at this beautiful view, there's some art to greet them here as well, and it has like this ambient sensor, so when people are away, it turns off by itself, but otherwise, I've kept this whole media wall very, very seamless, and in the initial render that I had, I also saw the PS5, which I'm not leaving here, by the way. It's my PS5, but I figured it'd be fun to just set it up and be able to enjoy it before it goes on the rental market. On top of that though, just having a media wall in the middle of the unit doesn't really make too much sense. It's not the best use of space. So I figured on the backside, why don't we add a bit of like a writing station or like a desk setup that you can at least have your laptop out and still enjoy the beautiful view. So here this is. You can see this whole wall is hollow right here, and there's the option of doing like open shelving up here, having some decor, but right now it is just a fold out shelf. So if you do want to make some extra room here, you can, but being able to just push, open it up here, it is very, very durable, and you can just have your laptop out. Maybe we'll leave a couple like local books and stuff for our guests, but there's also, of course, a power outlet to keep your laptop and smartphone charged. I might switch that into like a USB, but below here, you also have all of your controls for the Samsung Frame TV, the I/O, and just any other accessories and miscellaneous pieces. Over on this right side here, it is kind of a weird like corner where you would typically put a TV, but it definitely isn't the largest opening. So I figured it'd be the perfect spot to have a bit of a storage and like open bar. So you take a look at this, it's got matching shelves. You just have like some books, and you can maybe put some drinks and cups along here, power outlets that are at a counter height. And below here, we actually have all of the Wi-Fi and the TV set up. So because it's an 850 square foot unit, the Google Wi-Fi is easily able to reach and give great signal, even though you usually wouldn't put a router inside of a cabinet. But on top of that, you have your modem, which is very ugly and you don't want to have out in the open. And you could also have your actual TV box as well, and just have that wirelessly stream over to the actual TV in the living room. So there's no cables whatsoever, and all the very like ugly I/O stuff and the tech can all just go in the cabinet right here, as well as any supplies and accessories. The countertop does match the kitchen, but talking about the kitchen, let's go ahead and show you guys that next. So now we're in the kitchen, and this is an area where I had a few things in mind. The first intention was to make it as seamless as possible, and the second was to have a double waterfall countertop that just made a statement as soon as you walked in. You guys are looking at this from the entrance right now, and I just want to channel in nicely because the kitchen before was just like a pretty general one that you would expect out of a condo in 2009. So this right here is made by Thomas & Birch. They're a company that we've worked with for about our 4th project now, and they are the ones that are able to design, install, and kind of bring that vision to life in conjunction with Elmwood products. And the quality is very, very good. And of course, with the luxury rental property unit, you kind of have to decide how far you want to go in terms of quality, looks, but also as an investment standpoint, you want to pick good materials that last to not only benefit in the short term, but also in the long term when it is time to sell. So the combination that I went with is kind of like a warm walnut. You guys usually see like the walnut that I choose is a little bit darker and it goes with like a matte black, but in this case, a warm walnut with white countertops and like a phoenix gray finish right here, I feel like not only adds to the brightness of the space, but at the same time, it looks very, very smooth and seamless. There's different kind of kitchen designs. Some of them are a little bit more sophisticated, but this one right here's intention was to make it look as large as possible. So by moving the fridge over to this side and blending it in with the Fulgur appliances, this kitchen is able to span all the way across with the Cosentino style stone Calcutta gold on the countertops, the backsplash all as one slab, and the waterfall that seamlessly flows along both sides. There's also no like hardware at all. It is all very seamless there. You're able to just slide out all the cabinets as well. And so I feel like with like the electric cooktop, the oven, everything being separated, as well as the panel ready setup, it has really achieved its mission of just feeling as large as possible, but also matches like the brightness and luxury of the rest of the place. This Fulgur cooktop right here is all a touchscreen, and so you have like all these different buttons, the lock functions, the fast boil. There's a nice chamfer that goes around the side here, and as a smartphone reviewer, that is kind of how I describe it. And the oven over here just blends in. You go ahead and open that, and over on the left here, there is the dishwasher. All stainless steel. Very, very nicely integrated with all of the millwork, and there's also this nice knurled hardware as well. And as I said, here is the microwave. And on this side, we have the fridge. One of the challenges that we definitely ran into was the fact that there's actually some vent pipes right here. So I wasn't able to eliminate this entire wall here. So instead, wrap it in some millwork, blend it in with the fridge, and you have like a setup that essentially looks like it's really meant to be here, as opposed to a bit of an eyesore in a unit, especially like a small size condo. So just wrapping up the kitchen, the whole intention was to have the symmetry located in the island itself with the double waterfall, and over on this side, be able to maximize the room even if it isn't like a directly symmetrical setup where you have the fridge on one side and cabinets on the other. I definitely considered doing like cabinets just to even out the space between it, but I figured with the amount of limited counter space already against the wall and the lower ceilings and everything, I didn't want this to be kind of like a dark spot of the unit. So to the right of the kitchen, here is a bit of storage. On this side, you have a taller cabinet that has a spot for the Dyson to charge. Everything is actually wired up in there with a power outlet. There's just some space down there to put whatever you want. Right now we have some spare paint because we've been having some issues with the door cracks like expanding and stuff like that. So we're still trying to address that near the end of the reno. But on this side, you also have some space to hang some clothes, just like a grab and go area for keys and your EDC stuff. More space right here. I'm not really good at describing it because you can put whatever you want in here, but below here, you can also just take your shoes off, put them there, and keep it out of the way while still having it near the entrance at all times. The entrance is definitely not the widest, so putting shoes there doesn't really make much sense, so I figured making some room for it right here would be nice. It used to just be like a mirror closet, which wasn't the worst idea, but let me know what you guys think about like an entry cabinet like this. I feel like it definitely does give it a more like upscale feel, and carrying this idea over to my next project, I really want to do like a mudroom bench with coat hangers on the back and just an area where you can sit down and put your shoes on, but unfortunately due to space constraints, I couldn't do that here, and so I figured a cabinet that matches the kitchen just shows like the customized aspect of the space. So we're gonna go ahead and show you guys the guest bedroom first, and this is one that I feel like based on like the furniture and the millwork is probably my favorite of the two. Even though I did make a very controversial decision, once again, of putting the washer and dryer in here in order to allow the kitchen to be a lot more open, I feel like for a vacation rental and for a unit that was the price of a 1-bedroom unit, this like guest bedroom has a lot of great assets that the main bedroom doesn't even have. Not only does it face the side where the sun comes up every single morning, it doesn't get as hot in the summer, but at the same time you still have like a very nice cove over here that still fits a full-size dresser, so you have plenty of storage, a nice TV, and the way I would describe it is that it's a little bit cozy, but not compact by any means. You have plenty of space to be able to walk around. There's a full-size bed over here, and Yeah, just take a look at like the natural light. In both of the bedrooms, I decided to put a TCL TV because it is really, really good for vacation rentals. There's guest modes, the Airbnb manager can actually log in to like Netflix and stuff, and also allow guests to log themselves in if they have like certain like lists and stuff saved, and we can log them all out after a certain day. I feel like TCL just makes TVs that are a really, really good bang for buck. I think this was under like $550 on Black Friday, and not only is at 4K, but it also has QLED technology, has all the smart features built in, and as someone who reviews a lot of TVs, I think if you're looking for something that is really worth the money, this is one where you're really getting all the value out of it. On the topic of beds though, I want to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of this video and this series, Helix. If you guys don't know, I've said it many times, I've actually had a Helix mattress for the last 5 years and I absolutely love it. So to be able to work with them and also have that in our Airbnb units for the guests, where the most important aspect is sleep, is really, really awesome, and I absolutely love the product. The reason why is you can go ahead on their website and go through the whole sleep quiz, put in your height, your preferences, the type of characteristics that you would like, and from there they will actually recommend you an option from their lineup of mattresses as to which one they believe is best for you. On top of that, they actually have a 100-night sleep guarantee, so if you don't like it, they'll pay for the shipping and come and grab it for free, give you a full refund. But to be honest, I absolutely love the product. Many of my friends have it as well. And so in this case, I went with the standard Helix option for the guest bedroom, and I also went with the Helix Luxe for the main bedroom, which has the 3-inch plush topper. And on top of that, Helix also makes a lot of great accessories, including like the mattress protector, a cooling pad. They also have some really nice pillows as well. Plus, Helix mattresses have a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. But if you guys go ahead and use my link, you can save up to $200 on your custom Helix order, and you also get 2 free pillows with that, which is really awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link down below, and a huge thanks to Helix once again for sponsoring this series. So over on this side, something that I started doing on my last few property projects is some accent walls. So in my own place, I did go with like a pale navy color, and I feel like that turned out quite nicely. And over at the office, I did do a real walnut wall that went all the way up to the ceiling, and that was definitely one of like the signatures of that entire project. And being a smaller bedroom overall, by going with squares and keeping it that white color, I think it added some dimension, which allows the room to feel a little bit bigger than it actually is. I definitely had plans to paint it like a dark gray or maybe a light gray, but as soon as it was installed and in that white finish, I figured, why don't we keep it that way? Some of the other touches to be able to kind of open up the space a little bit and make room for like this washer and dryer, which had to be flipped over here because of the original placement, is some buttons over on that side for the light control. On top of that, there used to be a baseboard heater over on the left side, and I ended up moving it over to the wall over here so the bed can go directly along the wall, and I feel like with the nice sill along the windows, it actually looks pretty good. And as you wake up and look at the sunrise, it is a very comfortable experience in this guest bedroom. The walnut finish definitely adds some warmth here, and you guys probably recognize this nightstand that is from Rove Concepts that I also have in my own bedroom, and this lamp that we just grabbed off Facebook for like $35. And this rug is from West Elm. Over on this side though, in the last episode, you guys were like, this is a terrible idea. And my reasoning behind it was a few different things. You guys saw the kitchen before. The fridge was on one side, the washer and dryer was in its own room, essentially on the right side, and so that really took away from having a nice bold kitchen. This unit definitely has the room to have a nice kitchen, and I felt like the way it was designed was as if the kitchen was a bit of like an afterthought. And so I had to flip it over here because I wanted to go with a ducted system. There was a choice of going with like a ductless option or also a 2-in-1 washer and dryer, but the reason why I didn't do that is because Airbnbs often have a quick turnaround time. Sometimes there might be a guest checking out in the morning and checking in the afternoon, and a 2-in-1 system would simply take way too long to do 2 rounds of bedding and towels within a few hours. And so I flipped it around, did a ducted system. All the plumbing just had to be flipped 180, so it was relatively inexpensive. And so even though it is a little bit unfortunate that you have to have this in the guest bedroom, As I said, this unit was the price of a 1-bedroom unit, and so I figured this is already still and is still a very nice guest bedroom. And these cabinets right here are just from IKEA. You don't really have to spend a ton of money on these. They're literally $200. These rods were $5, and I was able to customize it to just go right in line with the washer and dryer and pick some drawer locations, some open concept stuff. I didn't really want to add too much because as an Airbnb, by taking out all the doors and a lot of like the drawers, people won't forget things. And so if you decide to like put your stuff here, you'll remember to grab it when it's time to go. And if I ever decide to sell the unit and want to clean it up a little bit, I can always add some tracked doors at any time. If there's one area of the last 2 projects that I feel like I could have done a lot better or strategized better, it is the bathroom. It's just a spot that I don't have a lot of experience in. And so stuff like wiring the lights up top, instead of remembering that I could have done maybe an LED mirror for less money, or maybe forgetting about all this tile on this side and being able to make those modifications after, are things that I definitely have considered and brought into the next project. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the closet setup just outside the bathroom here before we go ahead and show you the final design of the main bedroom. So coming out of the bathroom, here are the closets in the main bedroom. And before it was like the mirrors, there was some carpet here. And so I figured the best idea was just to open it up as much as possible, raise the height of the framing, and just leave it completely open for now. I did get some questions in episode 4 of why I would leave it open like this. And the reason being is it's gonna be an Airbnb for the foreseeable future. And so I didn't wanna add any new sliding doors that are easy to break, are not very effective, and might need some maintenance here and there, and at the same time can limit the amount of accessible storage. These drawers are very nice, and the only thing I don't like about this model in particular is that these legs down here look a little bit flimsy. They're kind of bent. They look like they're gonna fall off or something. But otherwise, for $300, I think from a practicality standpoint, these made total sense. And if you just want to keep it very simple, just throw a closet bar all the way across, have a shelf, put a cabinet or something in the bottom. The options with IKEA are essentially limitless. So as I showed you guys the closet, this is the main bedroom. It kind of just travels through and channels into the bathroom. And with this room, I decided to go with something that was very similar to what I did in my own place, but in a different color. And that is just like some simple accent wall material that is usually more of like a classic tone, but I feel like it's kind of come back. I've seen it quite often lately. And instead of doing like slatting as I've done before, I figured this kind of pattern actually breaks it up quite nicely and adds quite a bit of dimension to what is usually a pretty boring flat wall. The color right here is called dark olive, and it kind of changes depending on the light. At night it looks more of like a grayish green, and during the daytime the green really comes out. So I feel like it was a really good option. It is one that is a little bit subtle, but at the same time still has a strong olive look. And even though the rest of the place follows like a white chantilly lace color scheme with Iron Mountain doors, this main bedroom has just a bit of a different look to it. And these are some lights from West Elm. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of these lights. They're a little bit too big, and the way they're like kind of hinged forward on a weird angle is something that I didn't really expect. They were relatively inexpensive, and I liked the design idea of it, but I probably would have done something a little bit different. And in terms of some of the other modifications made is outlet over there. But when it comes to the furniture, this is a queen size bed. You probably could have fit a king size bed with some smaller side tables, but I feel like having this amount of storage on each side is quite nice. And the bed option also has some storage on the bottom as well. This just allows for a lot of supplies such as like towels, toilet paper, Kleenex, and as an Airbnb and investment property rental, you want to find spots to be able to store things that are more so just for the cleaning crew. So we just go ahead and slide that back in there. And here is a look at the other side. You see this walker right here? We probably could have put like a console table or a little bit of millwork, but the TV in this bedroom is exactly the same as the one in the other bedroom. It's a 50-inch size, has all of the access to like the smart streaming services, 4K resolution, and overall for an Airbnb, I think it'll be really, really nice. Here in the corner, I just figured we throw like a poof here. It is the same Allison color code as the living room couch. And yeah, you can kind of just put your shoes on, whatever you want. want. I feel like overall the flow of this main bedroom is really nice. It was actually originally carpet, so by changing it out into like the seamless floors throughout, instead of really breaking up the place through carpet, tile, and wood floors in an 850 square foot unit, already helped this room feel a lot larger. So yeah, this is kind of a look at the main bedroom. I think it actually turned out pretty nice, and I think accent walls are always a really easy way to give your room an update. There are multiple color options out there. I did Hail Navy for my own place. This green dark olive looks pretty good as well, but personally I kind of like the color blue. I also really like dark gray, and I feel like the Iron Mountain that was used on the door could have worked quite nicely on an accent wall as well. So yeah, this is kind of a tour of the main bedroom, and let's just go ahead and do a Q&A on the rest of the property. So now that this project is all said and done, I've given you the whole tour, let's go ahead and answer some of the questions that you guys had over on Instagram, just to bring it full circle, because you saw the polls over the last year where you helped make the different decisions of the tile, the floors, the paint colors, the accent walls, the furniture, every single thing. And it is definitely a long time coming. So let's just go ahead and see some of the questions that you guys have specifically. I always love doing these over on Instagram. So the first question is, how much does this project cost? I do have to go ahead and take a look at the final budget of it, but just for context, this unit I purchased for about 550,000 Canadian dollars, and that was at the start of last year. The real estate market in Victoria has gone absolutely insane since, from condos, homes especially, and the average price of condos in 2022 is, I think, in the mid 600s, if not a little bit higher. So just in the last year, during the span of the reno, the value of this unit has gone up quite a bit. And even like units in this building that were like on the 4th floor with no parking and about 500 square foot sold for over $1,000 a square foot. And just for context, I'm 5 floors higher than that, and this unit has 2 bedrooms, a parking spot, and it's 850 square foot. So with that kind of preface, I spent about $100,000 on the renovation, and that was definitely more than I was planning to spend. My first renovation in 2019 was about 60 to 70,000, but honestly, the price of labor has gone up a lot. The price of material has gone up as well. And over the years, that has obviously reflected in the projects, as much as I try to penny pinch in some areas while also trying to make sure some areas of the project are done properly, because that is just kind of standard of renovation and project that I want to have in like my real estate portfolio, but also for the YouTube content. The next question is, what would I do differently if I was to start this project all over again? I think the first thing that I would kind of figure out is, which areas do I need to get multiple quotes? There are some areas where I know I'm going to go with a certain company, such as like the countertops, the cabinets. I trust them, I've used them before, but stuff like drywall was a lot more expensive than I expected, and I figured it was just like an easy thing. Like, get rid of the popcorn ceiling, it doesn't look good. But when I saw the bill afterwards at almost 5 figures for all the drywall, mudding, and patching on like the concrete ceiling afterwards, I was really surprised by that. And I feel like it's an area where you don't really get a direct ROI, so I wish I got more information on that. And tile as well. Not planning where the electrical stuff goes beforehand led to a few different mistakes, including like being able to possibly save money by not having to buy an additional light on the top and just going with a nice mirror that had an LED built in, as well as like the power outlet placement next to the counter. That was also a bit of a mistake because of the different types of sink that was there before. So that was probably an area where my inexperience definitely showed, based on some of the mistakes that I noticed right away after that. The other thing is, in terms of project management, stuff was very all over the place. It was supposed to be done very quickly and it was off to a fast start, but it was just really hard getting people to come and do like a small project. Electric, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. I felt like we were chasing people all the time. So with this next project that I'm doing being a personal property and the biggest one to date, I've hired a company that does like the management, the planning, and all that kind of stuff. And even though it is like 20% of a surcharge on top of the project, they at least are able to give you a more accurate budget, timeline, which in my case, on the content side of things, and also in this case, getting it on Airbnb, would hopefully lead to a faster process, better end result, and in general, that 20% would hopefully be absolutely worth it. The The next question is, what is the price range of the Airbnb? So this is an area where supply and demand really does kick in. There's obviously other Airbnbs in this building and it's competitive. And so I feel like with this renovation, we have the best unit in this entire building just based on looking at the sales history and that kind of stuff. So we are targeting a higher price point. Being a business person, supply and demand is everything. And so a base price will probably be about $200 to $250. And if that rents very, very well, and as we get into the summer season, I have been told by the Airbnb manager that this unit can probably hit 300 to 400 and maybe even 500 to 600 on very specific long weekends. That is because it can sleep up to 4. It is the premium class. It has all the amenities. It is literally in the middle of downtown. It has a great view, and it is also very well curated in terms of its interior design, furnishings, and quality overall. So whether or not I will get a direct ROI on what I put into it just based on the Airbnb is something that we're going to have to see over time. But whenever I'm looking at Airbnbs, I definitely do have an appreciation for a place that has nice interior design elements and shows that everything was well put together, as opposed to just putting all the random furniture or hand-me-downs in one place just to get the job done. The last question is things I felt I did better this time compared to The Office. So The Office was like the first major renovation over 6 figures that I had ever done. And it was one where a 20-year-old loft has a lot of work to do. There were railings and all these other custom elements that came together, but at the end of the day, the end result was quite nice. And I think the things that we did better in this unit was just take the experience of what we know in terms of like the electric side of things, the plumbing, the tech, and bring that together. And as you do more projects, you continue to learn more things and carry them into the next one, and you're going to make mistakes on every single one. The fun part about real estate and interior design, and the reason why I like it so much, is because I'm just passionate about this stuff. So I always see new inspiration online and things that I want to carry into the next project, and that's how you kind of build a portfolio of properties that are not only good investments, but also things that keep you very excited on top of making YouTube videos as a day job. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the questions. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching this entire series, and I'll see you all in the next series.